The armed forces are discussing possible tweaks to the Agnipath scheme for military recruitment, including changes in the retention percentage of Agniveers from the current 25% to increase in their training period. This follows feedback from the three services. A survey was conducted recently that flagged certain issues with this scheme. These changes, however, are not yet formal recommendations to the government. These are proposals that are still being discussed by the armed forces. One of the changes to the scheme being discussed within the army is increasing the retention percentage from the current 25 to 60 to 70% for regular troops and nearly 75% for technical and specialist soldiers, including special forces. The feedback collated by the army has indicated lack of cohesiveness and camaraderie among the Agniveers and a tendency to compete and not collaborate to get absorbed, leading to lack of trust between the Agniveers. Telugu Desam Party President N. Chandrababu Naidu was sworn in as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh for the fourth term Wednesday at a ceremony near Vijayawada that was attended by PM Modi and other senior leaders of NDA ally BJP. Naidu, who won the recent assembly election from his home turf Kuppam for the 8th consecutive time, took oath at 11:27 am. This was the second time he took oath of office after bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. His previous two tenures were before the bifurcation. Apart from the Prime Minister, the event was attended by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP President and Union Minister JP Nadda, along with Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, Bandi Sanjay Kumar and G. Kishan Reddy, among others. Naidu was sworn in along with 24 ministers, including Janasena Party Chief Konidel Pawan Kalyan and TDP National General Secretary and Naidu's son N. Lokesh Naidu. Portfolios were yet to be allotted. 3 MLAs from Jansena and 1 from the BJP found a place in the cabinet. Apart from Pawan Kalyan, Nandela Manohar and Kandula Durgesh are the two other Jansena MLAs in Naidu's team, while the sole BJP MLA to take oath was Satya Kumar Yadav. Odisha's first BJP Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi took oath of the office Wednesday along with 2 Deputy Chief Ministers, 8 Cabinet Ministers and 5 Ministers of State with independent charge at a grand swearing-in ceremony at Janta Maidan. Prime Minister Modi, half a dozen Union Ministers and Chief Ministers of at least 9 BJP-ruled states joined the event. Outgoing Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik also attended the ceremony. It's a historic day in Odisha. With the blessing of my sisters and brothers of Odisha, BJP is forming its first ever government in the state. I attended the swearing-in ceremony at Bhubaneswar. Congratulations to Sri Mohan Charan Majhi in taking oath as CM and Sri KV Singh Dev as well as Srimati Pravati Parida on taking oath as Deputy CMs, the Prime Minister posted on X. Congratulations also to the others who took oath as ministers with the blessings of Mahaprabhu Jagannath. I am confident this team will usher the record development in Odisha and improve the lives of countless people. Internal discussions within the government suggest that the demand for special category status by BJP's two key allies TDP and JDU for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar respectively will be hard to meet, since there are several states which may need a higher percentage of grants given their socio-economic and fiscal health. One of the biggest benefits for states classified as a special category earlier was that 90% of funds under centrally sponsored schemes was contributed by the centre, with only 10% being the state contribution. For the other states, the split was 60-40 with the centre contributing just 60%. With the Rajya Sabha Secretariat notifying vacancies in 10 seats from 7 states whose member got elected to the Lok Sabha in the general elections, the ruling NDA and the opposition India Alliance are set for a fight in Maharashtra and Haryana. The BJP's candidates, however, are likely to roam home in the vacant seats for the upper house in 5 states. The Election Commission is yet to declare the dates for the Rajya Sabha polls for these 10 seats, of which 7 were held by the BJP, 2 Congress and 1 by the Rashtriya Janata Dal. Both the Congress and the RJD are key constituents of the India bloc. Among the BJP's Rajya Sabha MPs who got elected to the lower house, 3 are Union Ministers Sarbanda Sonowal, Jyotiraditya Scindia and Piyush Goyal. Out of the vacant seats, two are each in Assam, Bihar, and Maharashtra, and one each in Haryana, MP, and Rajasthan and Tripura. The BJP has sufficient numbers of assemblies concerned to retain both the Rajya Sabha seats of Assam and one seat each in Tripura, MP, and Rajasthan. In Bihar, both the BJP and the RJD will be able to clinch one seat each, given adequate members of both the NDA and the India coalitions in the state assembly. The BJP will likely to face a stiff challenge in the polls for the vacant seats in Maharashtra and Haryana. The current strength of the 90-member Haryana Assembly has come down to 87 now, while the BJP has 41 members and the Congress has 29 after its Maulana MLA Varun Chaudhary got elected to the Lok Sabha from Ambala. The Dushyant Chautala-led JJP, with which the BJP broke up the just ahead of the Lok Sabha polls, has 10 MLAs, while there are 5 independent legislators and 1 MLA is from the Indian National Lokdal and the Haryana Lokhit Party. The independent MLA from Badshahpur, Rakesh Dolatabad, died last month. Another independent legislator, Ranjit Singh, had resigned from his assembly membership to join the BJP and contest the Lok Sabha polls on his ticket from Hisar, where he lost to the Congress Jay Prakash. So in Haryana, on account of the support of independent MLA Nayan Pal Rawat and HLP MLA Gopal Kanda, the BJP strength comes to 43. The remaining 44 MLAs appear to be in the opposition camp, at least on paper, which include 29 of the Congress. Which include 29 of the Congress and 10 of JJP. Of the remaining 4 independents, 3 MLAs have announced support to the Congress. Another independent MLA from Mahal, Balraj Kundu, has neither supported the BJP nor the Congress. The INLD's Abhay Chautala has also not announced his support to any party so far. The Congress is hopeful that if it gets the support of all the opposition MLAs, it can defeat the BJP in Haryana, which however looks unlikely. At least 6 JJP MLAs have been upset with Dushyant, of whom 2 MLAs have announced their supports to the BJP. So the Congress may not be able to muster the required number to clinch the lone vacant Rajya Sabha seat in Haryana unless the entire opposition rallies behind it. In Maharashtra too, the contest will be tough for the BJP as both its NDA allies, the Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena and the Ajit Pawar-led Nationalist Congress Party, have struck discordant notes over not getting the cabinet berth in the new NDA government at the centre. Prime Minister Modi will leave for Italy on Thursday to attend the 50 G7 Leaders Summit. It will be his first trip abroad after assuming charge as the PM for the third term. Modi, accompanied by the high-level delegation, will attend an outreach session on the summit on June 14. The session will be focused on issues relating to artificial intelligence, energy, Africa and the Mediterranean. The G7 Leaders Summit, to be held in the luxury resort of Borgo in Italy's Apula region from June 13 to 15, is expected to be dominated by the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Hamas conflict. This will be the Modi's 5th state visit to the G7 summit. India has attended 10 G7 summits in the past, with this will be the 11th one. The G7 summit under the Italian presidency has chosen some key priorities for the current year. In broad terms, these are: first, conflict in Russia-Ukraine, Middle East with its consequences on the global agenda; second, relationship with developing nations and emerging economies with focus on Africa and Indo-Pacific region; third, migration together with climate, energy leakages and food security; and last but not the least, artificial intelligence. Prime Minister's participation in the G7 summit would also provide a timely opportunity to follow up the outcomes of the G20 summit held under India's presidency last year and deliberate on issues which are significant for the Global South, Foreign Secretary Vinay Kwatra said. On the sidelines of the G7 summit in Italy, the PM is also expected to hold bilateral meetings and discussions with the leaders of the G7, as also the outreach countries and international organizations. The G7 group of 7 comprises the US, UK, France, Italy, Germany, Canada and Japan. Though the European Union is not a member of G7, it attends the annual summit. The PM is also expected to hold a meeting with Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear on Thursday as many as 3 petitions, including the one filed by Chief Executive of EdTech firm PhysicsWallah pertaining to the controversy-ridden NEET UG 24 for admissions to MBBS, BDS and other courses. As per the Apex Court's updated list of business, a vacation bench comprising Justices Vikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta will take up the petitions raising grievances related to the conduct of the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test undergraduate. Alakh Pandey, the Chief Executive of the EdTech firm has moved to the top court against what he alleged was random awarding of grace marks by the National Testing Agency to over 1500 candidates. The examination was held on May 5 across 4700 centers and around 24 lakh candidates took it. The results were expected to be declared on June 14 but were announced on June 4 apparently because the elevation of an answer sheets got completed earlier. The allegations such as question paper leak and the grant of grace marks to over 1500 medical aspirants have led to protests and filing of cases in 7 high courts as also the Supreme Court. The centre has approved the Uttarakhand government's proposal to rename Joshimath Tehsil in Chamoli district as Jyotirmath and Koshia Kutoli Tehsil in Nainital district as Pragna Shri Kenchi Dham. An official statement said Wednesday. CM Pushkar Singh Dhami had announced the renaming last year. It was a long-standing demand of local residents who had raised the issue with the CM, citing Joshimath's historical and spiritual significance. It is believed that the area was originally called Jyotirmath after Adi Guru Shankaracharya visited in the 8th century to perform penance under the Amar Kalpa tree and attained enlightenment. However, over time it became popular as Joshimath. According to the state government statement, Koshia Kutoli in Nainital will now be known as Pragna Shri Kenchi Dham Tehsil after Baba Neem Karoli Maharaj's ashram. Local residents and devotees of Baba Neem Karoli Maharaj expressed their gratitude to CM Dhami, the statement added. Dhami had proposed the renaming of Koshia Kutoli Tehsil to Kenchi Dham during the Kenchi Dham Temple's Foundation Day celebrations on June 15 last year. An overnight gun battle in Jammu and Kashmir's Kathua district ending Wednesday after a second militant who was holed up in a village was killed and CRPF Jawan lost his life, police said. Hours later in Doda district Kota Top area near Gando, a special police officer was injured after a joint team of police and paramilitary forces came under fire from militants. The fourth such incident in Jammu since last Sunday when a pilgrim bus was attacked. This team had launched a search operation in the area after militants targeted a joint police and army outpost in Doda's tourist spot in Chatargala and on Tuesday night, injuring 5 soldiers and a special police officer. The Kota Top gun battle was on at press time and reinforcements were rushed to the area. It was unclear if the militants at the Kota Top were those who had attacked the outpost. Meanwhile, in Kathua, police and paramilitary forces continued searches Wednesday, suspecting the presence of more militants. The gunfight has erupted after 2 militants barged into a house in Saida village on Tuesday night. 1 militant was killed soon after. Both slain militants were believed to have entered Jammu and Kashmir through the Hiranagar sector from Pakistan. Police identified the deceased CRPF constable as Kabir Das Uki, a resident of MP's Chhindwara. During the encounter, Kathua SSP Anayat Ali and Jammu Samba Kathua DIG Sunil Gupta had a narrow escape as bullets fired by the militants hit the windscreen of their vehicles. The soldier and the SPO injured in Chatragala were admitted to the Army's hospital in Udhampur. Chatragala and adjoining Kathwa's Sarthal are both tourist destinations. After Tuesday night attack, movement of civil vehicles on Bandarwa Pathankot road was suspended. A 12-person jury in Wilmington on Tuesday found President Joe Biden's son Hunter 54 guilty of lying about his drug use on a phone while purchasing a gun in 2018. He faces a maximum of 25 years in prison. This marks the first criminal prosecution of a sitting US president's son or daughter. He may or may not actually go to jail, however. This was also the first of Hunter Biden's 2 trials. He has been separately indicted in California over tax charges. The trial will likely begin in September. Nearly 6 years ago, Hunter bought a Colt Cobra 38 handgun while he was allegedly addicted to crack cocaine. According to US federal law, users of illegal drug cannot own firearms. As part of the purchase, Hunter also lied about his drug use on a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives form. The gun became an issue after his brother's widow, Hallie Biden, with whom Hunter was romantically involved at a time, found it in his truck's console and threw it in a trash can outside a grocery store. Hallie claimed that she did so because she became concerned Hunter might harm himself. I realize it was a stupid idea now, but I was panicking, she testified. When Hunter realized that the gun was missing, Hallie informed him over text that she had thrown it away. Are you insane? He allegedly texted, and ABC reported said. Hallie went back to the trash and can to retrieve the gun, but it was not there. An elderly man who was looking for recyclables had found it and taken it home. Subsequently, police recovered the gun from the man. The ongoing spell of extreme heat in many parts of the country has reopened discussions in the inclusion of heat waves as one of the notified disasters under the Disaster Management Act 2005. If this happens, states can be allowed to use their disaster response funds to provide compensation and relief and carry out a range of other activities to manage the fallout of a heat wave. Currently, states use their own funds for their activities. The DM Act was enacted in the wake of the 1999 Odisha super cyclone and the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. It defines a disaster as a catastrophe, mishap, calamity or grave occurrence arising from a natural or man-made causes that results in substantial loss of life, destruction of property and damage to the environment. They must also be beyond the coping capacity of the community. If such an event takes place, states are allowed to draw money from the two funds that were set up under the DM Act, the National Disaster Response Team and the State Disaster Response Team. States must use funds available in the SDRF and must seek money from the NDRF only if they are inadequate. The fiscal year 23-24, only two states drew money from the NDRF. While the entire money of the NDRF comes from the center, states contribute 25% of the funds to their respective SDRF. These funds cannot be used for any purpose other than response and management of notified disasters. Currently, there are 12 categories of disaster notified under the DM Act: cyclones, drought, earthquake, fire, flood, tsunami, hailstorm, landslide, avalanche, cloudburst, pest attack, and frost and cold waves. However, heat waves not included in the list of notified disasters. Although heat waves are not a new phenomenon in India, at the time of the DM Act was enacted, they were not viewed as a disaster. This is because heat waves were a common occurrence during the summer and not really an unusual weather event. In the last 15 years, however, both the severity and frequency of heat waves have been increased. Moreover, due to increased economic activity, there is also a far larger number of people who have to remain outdoors for their livelihoods, others reason exposing them to the risk of a heat stroke. Currently, 23 states are identified as being vulnerable of heat waves. These states, as well as several vulnerable cities, have now prepared heat action plans to deal with the impacts of extreme heat. HAPs involve activities like creating shade space, ensuring availability of cool water in public places, distribution of simple oral solutions, and reorganizing the schedules of schools, colleges, and office working hours. Implementing these measures involve recurring expenditure, but state governments have not been able to utilize SDRF funds for the same. This is the reason why some states have been demanding that heat waves be notified under the DM Act. There are two primary reasons for this. Finance Commission unconvinced. The Finance Commission is a periodically established constitutional. क्या हुआ बाबू? There is this interesting tale of conversation between Andhra Pradesh Telugu Desam Supremo N.T. Ramarao and Haryana's Grand Old Man Chaudhary Devilal. What is a kamma? Devilal supposedly asked NTR, referring to the latest caste. We are Andhra Jats, NTR explained. Devilal was able to immediately place NTR and his party within state's caste hierarchy and political frame. When regional politicians try to become national leaders, they are always looking at platforms that would appeal across the country. While Hindutva was one such platform created by the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and the Bharatiya Janata Party, it has held its up and downs in becoming a pan-Indian political platform. What then is a common thread from waves itself through the rap and whoop of Indian nationhood, where one group from one part of India does not have to explain where it stands within the subcontinent social structure and cultural personality to other group from a different part of the country. A distinguished professor of political science, the late Professor Rasiuddin Khan of JNU, used to argue that the only two groups that are truly pan-Indian and Brahmins and Muslims. Pan-Indians are Brahmins and Muslims. Sure, there are divisions within both groups. They are these and these. What? क्या पढ़ रहा है? Chandrababu Naidu's return as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh with the support of the charismatic Pawan Kalyan, founder of Jan Sena Party and Deputy Chief Minister in the BJP, is important not just in political or economic terms, but for what they could do together to make India once again a cultural pathfinder of the world. If being Hindi and more recently Gujarati had defined the face of Hindutva so far, what we might see now is something that Indians don't quite know perhaps, and that is what it means to be Hindu in Telugu. For many people in Andhra Pradesh, this election marks an end to years of anguish about cultural destruction in Andhra Pradesh through the removal of Telugu in schools, sweeping proselytization and even attacks on temples. Earlier this year, I travelled extensively in the region, visiting places associated with my mother and the actor and former member of parliament Jamuna. In her childhood village of Duggirala, they spoke of how harshly Jagan had treated Babu. In Mangalagiri, where Naidu's son Lokesh just won an election, I visited the twin temples of Narsimha Swami near Vijayawada. We joined a group of local devotees in a Diya ceremony at the historic Srikola, Andhra Mahavishnu temple, the site of one of the earliest Satvahana kingdoms. The day was January 22 and the reverberations of the Ayodhya Pran Pratishtha were being felt profoundly in every tiny village we visited. Academic convention would say this is an effect of Hindutva making inroads into the south, but the truth is that the Telugu heartlands has been a Hindu heartland for centuries. One of the earliest records of the documented both Turusha atrocities as well as Hindu resistance in the Vilasa copper plate inscriptions of 1325, which were found coincidentally enough in what is now Pawan Kalyan's constituency of Pithapuram. There is in Telugu region a thriving diversity of local cultural practices anchored in inherited traditions. How these are managed will have profound consequences for India in the future, especially in the wake of the particularly nasty divisive rhetoric the recent election campaigns have forced upon us. It is my belief that Andhra Pradesh can be one place from where we can found our way forward. Rather than confine itself to economic vikas issues, a new government should invest heavily in education and culture in Andhra Pradesh. A new humanities university in or near the capital city of Amaravati would revive the place's ancient prestige and also complete what an earlier government had sought less successfully to do in Nalanda. Indian humanities, as a scholar D. Venkat Rao had written, even have to account for what he calls biocultural formations, or what I have been describing as the verticals or intergenerational continuity. In the Telugu regions with their many sacred institutions, there is a potential of those carefully preserved intellectual and cultural lineages to actually inform modern humanities education rather than suffer being aged out by ecologically destructive mega-tourism projects pushed through rashly in sensitive temples kshetras. The possibility of bright students, artists and writers coming to Andhra Pradesh from all over India and the world to learn amid nature from traditional scholars should make for the kind of civilizational revival many leaders profess but fail to deliver. The wait is over. The National Democratic Alliance won a third term in a far hard-fought election than was expected. The Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, which appeared dissonant 6 months ago, found new synergy in the weeks immediately preceding voting. In an election that was biased even before voting began by a series of actions targeting the opposition, from arrest to freezing of bank accounts, the Idea Bloc's achievement of 234 seats is truly creditable. Given the outcome, two questions stand out, one of the NDA allies and the other for India. For the NDA allies, in particular the Telugu Desam Party and the Janata Dal United, on whom a third NDA administration stand or falls, this is historic opportunity to move the needle away from flat and towards the constitutional rule of law. Rumor has it that TDP and JDU are seeking the Lok Sabha Speaker's post. That would be good news for Parliament. where deliberation was largely disallowed during the past 5 years. This is a demand that India should support.